New passenger terminal building, phase 1 at Ozamiz Airport. This is a rebid amounting to 222,023,935 pesos and 37 centavos. This is an ADM-SDOTR project. This will be presented by Attorney Frank of the TWG.
Go ahead, please. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the Beats and Awards Committee, Charlie. Um, Before I proceed, Secretariat, can you confirm if you can now see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So this is the post-qualification report for the project Ozamiz Airport, a construction of new passenger terminal building phase 1 at Ozamiz Airport. So the approved budget for the contract is 2,23,953 pesos and 37 centavos. And considering that the two previous bidding for this project was declared a failure, thus we proceed with the negotiation for this project. So it was negotiated under bid number 21-019-09 Charlie Nego. And we opened the bids last January 21, 2022. And the lowest submitted bid and the lowest calculated bid is R2 Builders Incorporated. So, considering that this is a negotiated bid, not all the required, not all the items in the checklist were required. Only the documents stated in the invitation to bid were submitted. So for the findings, eligibility and technical documents, field job certificate of registration, the submitted bid is the submitted document is responsive, and the registration, field jobs registration, platinum membership is valid until May 24, 2022. For the registration from the SAC, the R2 Builders is registered under registration number 155086, and date of registration is September 8, 1988, so it is responsive. For the mayor's building, mayor's services permit, the submitted mayor's permit is was issued by LGU Quezon City, and it is valid until March. It was issued March 3, 2021 and valid until December 31, 2022. It also, the R2 Builders also attached the official receipt for its renewal, and it is dated January 21, 2022. And they also attached the certification from the LGU Quezon City that it is still valid pending the issuance of the renewed license, so it is responsive. For the tax clearance, the submitted tax clearance is valid until June 8, 2022, so it is responsive. For the for the Picab license, the requirement for the project is medium B license category A for building and plant and industrial plant. The submission of R2 Builders is large B license category quadruple A. So this is for building an industrial plant. So they are responsive to the requirement for the license, Picab license. So it is responsive. For the statement of all ongoing contracts, government, both government and private, they listed 13 ongoing projects, no slippage more than -15 and no slippage more than -10. So this is responsive. For the SLCC, the project submitted is the site development, site planning and development of a 7-hectare property of the Philippine Army, and the design construction of a 4-story medium-rise Philippine Army's officers' quarters project. So this is a design and construction project at Taguig City with a contract amount of 840,582,025 pesos. So the ABC of the SLCC is way more than the 50% of the ABC of the project, and it is similar to the contract to be bid. So it is responsive. For audited financial statement, the submitted AFS of R2 Builders for fiscal year 2019-2020, and it is stamped received by BIR May 19, 2021. So it is responsive. For the NFCC, the submitted NFCC is more than the ABC in the amount of 1,300,776,176 pesos. So this is responsive. For the omnibus sworn statement, they submitted a duly notarized omnibus sworn statement. So this is responsive. And for the annual income tax return or the business tax, they submitted the ITR for the year 2020, which was stamped received by the BIR May 15, 2021. So responsive. For the financial documents, the financial bid, the offered bid inclusive less the 2.41 discount is 210,172,998 pesos and 88 centavos. And after the bid evaluation, the adjusted or the calculated bid amount is 210,172,999 pesos and 79 centavos. So this is below the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. On the bill of quantities, the bid proposal, the detailed estimates, and the summary sheets and the cash flow by quarters are utilized submitted by R2 Builders, all utilizes the bidding forms as provided as attached in the document. So these are all responsive submissions. So after bid evaluation, they were given letter of post-qualification, and they submitted within the prescribed period the following documents. So for the income tax, latest business tax returns, they submitted the September 30 or the third quarter business tax of R2 Builders, which was filed last November 25, and this is responsive. Other appropriate licenses, the Picab license with signature, SEC registration, mayor's permit, and the tax clearance were all attached and submitted in the post-qualification documents. So these are regular and valid submissions, so it is responsive. For key personnel, they submitted all the licenses and accreditation of the proposed personnel to be assigned to the project. So, and the licenses are current and valid, and the findings is responsive. So, the bid proposal of R2 Builders was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid for having complied with all the legal, technical, and the financial requirements. The submitted bid of R2 Builders is higher than its calculated bid, and pursuant to section 34.4, the prevailing amount, which will, the controlling amount which will be used for the determination of the contract price will be the lower price. So with that, Mr. Chair, the technical working group hereby recommends to award the project construction of passenger new terminal building phase 1 at Ozamiz Airport to R2 Builders Incorporated, being the lowest calculated responsive bid in the amount of 210,172,299 pesos and 79 centavos. For consideration, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Attorney Frank. As I'm sure do we have any comments or questions from the members? We have here a recommendation for the award of the project construction of new passenger terminal building phase 1 at Ozamiz Airport to be awarded to R2 Builders Incorporated. Do you have any questions or queries? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I hereby move to adopt the recommendation of the DWG to award the contract for the construction of the new passenger terminal building phase 1 at Ozamiz Airport to R2 or R11, sorry, that's R2 Builders Incorporated, being the lowest calculated responsive bid, the amount of 210,172,299 pesos and 79 centavos.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Do you have any second?
Second, sir.
Thank you. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation of the TWG for the award of the project to R2 Builders Incorporated is hereby adopted and the motion is hereby carried. TWG, can you arrange for the necessary notices for this for the succeeding steps? this will be presented to the board, uh, Elecon.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
This
this
is
coming
coming
Friday.
for.
All right, thank you. Let's proceed, please.
Um, the next project, Mr. Chair, is
The next project is the presentation of the post-qualification report for the Ormoc Airport Development Project construction of control tower building, powerhouse transformer yard, BOC, box culvert, and strip grade correction amounting to 194,095,250 pesos. This is an ADMS DOTR downloaded project.
to this post-qualification report is for the Ormoc Airport Development Project. The bids were opened last January 5, and the lowest calculated bidder for this project is Unimasters Conglomeration Incorporated in joint venture with Dyson Construction and Trading Corporation, a joint venture. So the calculated bid is 156,728,510 pesos and 72 centavos. So for the findings, for the eligibility documents, PhilJEP's registration, the submission is platinum membership and it is valid for Uni Masters valid until February 8 and 28. I'm sorry. While for Dyson, it's valid until February 19, both for 2020 this year. So this is responsive submissions. For the certificate, registration certificate, both companies submitted the SEC registration, and these are valid submissions, and these are responsive as well. For the business or mayor's permit, Unimaster submitted the mayor's permit issued by Tacloban City, which is valid until December 31, 2021, while Dyson Construction as well submitted a mayor's permit, which is valid until February 9, 2021. I mean, December 31, 2021, but we noted that these licenses or business permits were provisionally accepted subject to the submission of the updated mayor's permit during the post-qualification, and the bidder submitted the updated mayor's permit, so it is responsive. Tax clearance, the Unimaster submitted a tax clearance which is valid until January 11, 2022, and Dyson submitted a tax clearance which is valid until September 13, 2022. These are valid valid submissions during the opening of bids, and Unimasters Conglomeration submitted an updated tax clearance as part of the post-qualification documents. And it is valid until 2023. So it is responsive. For the Picab license, the requirement for this project is we require 2 licenses. This is for buildings and industrial plant, and for roads, highways, pavement, railways, airport, horizontal structures, and bridges. So Unimaster submitted a medium B license category AAA for buildings and industrial plant, large B license category AAA for roads and highway, pavement, railway, airport, horizontal structures, and bridges. So these alone already met the criteria. And while Dyson submitted a small B license category B and small B license category B for buildings and industrial plant and roads, highway, pavement, railways, horizontal structures, and bridges, respectively. So considering that this is a joint venture, they submitted a special contractor's license, and the categorization is large B, license category A for general engineering, road, highway, pavement, railway structures, and bridges. All these licenses are valid until June 30, 2022. So these are responsive submissions. Statement of all ongoing projects, 18 projects were listed and we verified these projects, no slippages, more than 15 and more than -10. And we also secured a certification, requesting a certification from the DOTR and the DPWH with regard to the ongoing project. So these are responsive submission. For the SLCC, they submitted two projects for horizontal, one for horizontal and one for vertical. For the horizontal structure, for the vertical component, they submitted the construction of 1 unit, 4 stories, 16 classroom building in Pag-asa Elementary School in San Juan, Taytay, Rizal. The contract price of this project is 44,773,435 pesos and 20 centavos. For the horizontal component, they submitted the construction of bypass road, including the road right-of-way, ROWNRJ, Daang Maharlika, Tagibo, Masao Port. So the amount or the contract price for this project is 127,599,999 pesos and 98 centavos. So both of these submission are similar to the contract to be bid and within the ABC of the project or below the ABC. No, I'm sorry, more than the ABC of the project. So it is responsive. For the audited financial statement, the submission is for fiscal year 2019-2020 and it was received by BIR last July 2 for Unimasters and Dyson also July 2, 2021. So responsive. For the bidder's computation of NFCC, the NFCC is more than the ABC of the project in the amount of 6,889,592,707 pesos and 84 centavos. So it is responsive. The joint venture agreement was also attached, was also submitted, and it is duly signed and notarized, dated last December 16, 2021. So it is responsive. For the technical documents, all the submitted technical documents, which are the bid security, organizational chart, the list of contractors' personnel, contractors' equipment, omnibus sworn statement, are all in accordance with our form. And it all met the required personnel and equipment as indicated in the invitation to bid. The omnibus sworn statement, so it is all responsive. The omnibus sworn statement, meanwhile, was also duly notarized and signed, so it is responsive. For the certificate of site inspection, the inspection was conducted by Ms. Mugas. The certificate was issued by the airport manager of Ormoc Airport, so it is responsive. Photocopy of the company ID. The company ID of Ms. Mugas was attached, so it is responsive. For the visitor's logbook, they also attached a photocopy of the CAAP visitor's logbook with the entry name of Ms. Nijan Mugas. So it is responsive. Bid bulletin number 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The joint venture submitted all the required bid bulletins. So it is responsive. For the financial bid, the offered bid is 156,728,510 pesos and 72 centavos, and the calculated bid has only a difference of 0.01 centavos. So this is below the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. For the bill of quantities, bid proposals, detailed estimates and summary sheets, as well as the cash flow by quarter, the submissions are all in accordance with the Philippine bidding forms under Section 9. So these are responsive submissions. The technical working group conducted a site visit at Tacloban. They inspected the equipment and inspected some of the ongoing projects of the joint venture. And for the post-qualification document submission, latest income tax, they submitted the business tax for the period 31 December for Unimasters and Dyson. For appropriate licenses, both companies also submitted the required licenses and permits such as PhilJIP's registration, Picab licenses, SEC registration, updated mayor's permit, and tax clearance. For the audited financial statement, they resubmitted the AFS for the fiscal year 2019-2020, and these are responsive submissions. Key personnel, all the licenses and accreditations are current and valid. So all in all, the proposal of Unimasters Conglomeration Incorporated in joint venture with Dyson Construction and Trading Corporation was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid. They complied all the legal, technical, and financial requirements. As to the bid amount, the submitted bid of the joint venture is higher than the calculated bid. So the controlling amount in the determination of the contract price is the one which is in lower amount. So with that, Mr. Chair, we are recommending to award the project, Ormoc Airport Development Project, to Unimasters Conglomerations Incorporated in joint venture with Dyson Trading Construction for consideration and approval, Mr. Chair, of the committee.
Thank you for that presentation. Good afternoon, sir. So we have your recommendation from the TWG for the award of the contract to Ormoc on the Ormoc Airport Development Project 2, Unimasters Conglomerate, and Dyson Construction Joint Venture. Do you have any comments or queries from the members? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please. Again, this will have to be presented to the board this coming board meeting due to the amount involved. Do you have any questions or a motion, please? Thank you.
To the chair.
Yes, Ma'am Joyce.
Having been evaluated as the lowest calculated responsive bid, I move to adopt the recommendation of the TWG to recommend to award the contract for the Ormoc Airport Development Project to Unimasters Conglomeration Incorporated with joint venture with Dyson Construction and Trading Corporation. Thank you.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you po. There being a motion duly seconded, the project Ormoc Airport Development Project is hereby awarded to Unimasters Conglomeration and Dyson Construction Trading Corporation joint venture, subject of course to the approval of the board this coming board meeting, and the motion is hereby carried. Thank you. Let's proceed, please.
So the next project is the presentation of post-qualification report for the Siargao Airport Development Project amounting to 211,461,023 pesos and 94 centavos. This is an ADMS-DOTR downloaded project.
So for the Siargao Airport Development Project, we opened the bids last January 19, and Fabmi Construction and Equipment Company Incorporated was the lowest both submitted and calculated bidder in the amount, and with a calculated bid of 198,880,174 pesos and 73 centavos. So for the findings, eligibility documents, PhilJIP's certificate of registration. The submission is a platinum membership and valid until December 9, 2022. So responsive. Registration certificate. The submission is the SEC registration number A1998-03703, and it is registered last March 20, 1998. So it is responsive. For the mayor's permit, they submitted the mayor's permit, which is valid until December 31, 2022, issued by Makati City. So it is responsive. For the tax clearance is valid until July 5, 2022. It is responsive. Picab license, we only require, we require 2 licenses one for building an industrial plant, which is medium A large license category B, and for road, highways, pavement, railways, airport, horizontal structures, and bridges, it's medium A license category B. FABMIC Picab license met the criteria. The category of FABMIC Picab license is triple A, medium A for buildings, industrial plant, and medium B for road, highways, pavement, railways, airport, horizontal structures, and bridges. These Picab licenses are, the Picab license is valid until June 30, 2022, so it is responsive. For the statement of all ongoing projects, only 5 projects are being done by FABMIC, and these projects has no slippages more than -15 and -10. We also secure the copy of, the ongoing projects from DOTR and DPWH. So it is responsive. For the SLCC, the submitted project is concreting of Dinagat Loreto Road, and the project is located in Dinagat Island with a contract amount of 95,439 pesos, 172 pesos and 02 centavos. So this is more than the 50% of the ABC of this particular component, while they also submitted the design and construction of GRSLP, seed sorting and drying facility, which is a design and build building, and the contract price is 56,500,000. So both of these projects are similar to the contract to be bid, thus it is responsive. For the audited financial statement, the submission is for fiscal year 2019-2020 and stamp received by BIR last April 15, 2021, so it is responsive. For the NFCC, NFCC is more than the ABC of the project in the amount of 2,769,933,515 pesos and 70 centavos. So this is responsive. JV is not applicable in this case. For the technical documents, bid security, they submitted a bid securing declaration, so it is responsive. It is truly, it's notarized, so it's responsive. Org chart, the submission the submission met the minimum required personnel as per ITB, so it is responsive. Contractors personnel, the personnel to be assigned to the project met the minimum required as per ITB, so it is responsive. List of contractors' equipment, all the required major equipment as well as minor equipment were all provided in the list, so it is responsive. Omnibus sworn statement, it is duly notarized and it is responsive. Site inspection was conducted by Mr. Garly Abilitado, and the certificate was issued by the Siargao Airport Manager, so this is responsive. For company ID, they attached the person, the company of ID of Mr. Abilitado, so it's responsive. And for the visitor's logbook, the visitor's logbook of Siargao Airport, it is responsive. So bid bulletin not applicable in this case. As to the second envelope, financial components, financial bid, the calculated bid of FABMIC is lower than the offered bid, and it has a difference of 12,588,489 pesos and 29 centavos. And the calculated, both the calculated and the offered bid is are below the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. For the bill of quantities, bid proposal, detailed estimates, summary sheets, and cash flow by quarter, FABMIC utilizes the the bidding forms as provided in Section 9, and these are all responsive submissions. We conducted, the technical working group also conducted the document validation at the office of FABMIC in Makati, as well as we conducted the equipment inspection in their yard at Bulacan. And they submitted the required post-qualification documents within the prescribed period, and here are the submitted documents. For the latest income tax and business tax, they submitted the business tax for the period fourth quarter 2021, which was filed last February 8th. And this is a responsive submission. For licenses and permits, they submitted the field jobs registration, Picab license, SEC registration, mayor's permit, and the tax clearance. All are regular and are valid and thus responsive. Latest audited financial statement, submission is for 2019-2020. Again, it's stamped received by the BIR last April 15, 2021. So it's responsive submission. Key personnel, all the key personnel to be assigned to the project are has a current and valid licenses and permits. So these are responsive submissions. So in sum, for having complied all the legal, technical, and financial requirements, the proposal of Fabric Construction and Equipment Company was evaluated to have offered a single calculated responsive bid. Fabric offered, the Fabric submitted bid amount is higher than the calculated bid amount. So the calculated bid amount will be the basis for the contract price of this project. So we are now, Mr. Chair, recommending to award the project Siargao Airport Development Project to Fabric Construction and Equipment Incorporated, being the single calculated responsive bidder in the amount of 198 million rather, 880,174 pesos and 73 centavos. For consideration, Mr. Chair, and approval. Sir?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. So we have your recommendation for the award of the Siargao Airport Development Project to Fabric Construction and Equipment Incorporated. Do you have any queries or clarifications from the members? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please. Again, this will also be presented to the board, Attorney Frank.
Yes, sir.
Lahat to Friday, no? Aabot to?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
just making sure. Anyway, do we have any questions? If there's none, let's have a motion, please. Thank you.
The Chair.
Yes, Colonel.
Yes, I move to adopt the recommendations of the Technical Working Group to award the contract for the Siargao Airport Development Project to Fabric Construction and Equipment Incorporated, being the single calculated responsive bid in the amount of 198,880,174.73 pesos.
Thank you, sir. Do you have a motion? Do you have a second? Thank you, Ma'am Diane. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation to award the project to Fabric Construction is hereby adopted and the motion is carried. For presentation, subject to the presentation to the board. It's coming Friday. Thank you. Let's proceed please to the next item.
Sir, next item is the presentation of the post-qualification report for the Lawag International Development Project, calendar year 2021's runway strip grade correction with provision of strip end and DRESA expansion of turnaround pad, construction of access road, grouted riprap, snow protection at proposed access road, provision of double barrel RCPC and manhole, completing of additional VPA and exit road with additional lighting system and drainage system at VPA, and construction of perimeter security fence and frangible fence amounting to 124,947,650 pesos and 99 centavos. This is an 8DMS DOTR downloaded project. Attorney Frank.
So this is the second to the last project that I will present today, the Laoag International Airport Development Project, CY 2021. The bid Number for this project is 21-031-11, Charlie. And we opened the submitted bids last January 5, 2022. So DK Hoxon, the lowest calculated bidder for this project in the amount of 91,473,591 pesos and 38 centavos. For the findings, eligibility documents, field job certificate of registration, platinum membership was submitted and it is valid until May 13, 2022, responsive. For registration certificate, DTI certificate was submitted and the business name registration number 3014724 and it is valid until 3rd of August 2026, so it's responsive. Business or mayor's permit, the mayor's permit issued by Talisay, which is valid until December 31, was provisionally accepted during the bid opening, and DK Oxon submitted an updated mayor's permit as part of the post-qualification document. So these are responsive submissions. Tax clearance, it is valid until March 5, 2022. So it is responsive. So for Picab license, the requirement is medium A category B for road, highway, pavement, railway, airport, horizontal structures and bridges. DK Hoxon Picab license for this category is license category A, medium B. So this is within the prescribed requirement. I mean the required license, Picab license for this project. So it is responsive. For the statement of all ongoing projects, DK Hoxon only has 3 projects right now, and these projects has no negative slippages more than 15 and 10%. So it is responsive. We also secured DOTR and DPWH statement of all ongoing projects for DK Hoxon. And the reports actually reflected no negative slippages more than 15 and 10 respectively. For the SLCC, the submitted project is upgrading of Tuyong Kalamandaan Provincial Road. This is in Kawayan, Negros Occidental, and the project cost is 70,040,821 pesos and 75 centavos. Sorry. And they also submitted the project completing of National Road along Bacolod South Road. This is also in Hinubaan, Negros Occidental, with a contract amount of 32,348,342 pesos and 5 centavos. These projects are similar to the contracts to be bid, and it is more than the 50% of the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. Audited financial statement for fiscal year 2019-2020. Submission was the document was received by BIR last March 30, 2021, so it is responsive. For NFCC, the submitted NFCC is 525,231 pesos and 74 centavos. This is more than the EBC of the project, so it is responsive. Joint venture agreement, not applicable. Technical documents, bid security. The submission was a duly notarized bid securing declaration, so it is responsive. Org chart, the requirement as per ITB was met, so it's responsive. For the contractor's personnel, the required technical personnel as per ITB as well met the minimum criteria for these projects, so it's responsive. For lease of contractors' equipment, they met the minimum required equipment. All major and minor equipment were indicated, so it is responsive. For omnibus sworn statement, duly notarized omnibus sworn statement was submitted, so it is responsive. Certificate of site inspection was conducted by Mr. Pelnaber, and the certificate was issued by Mr. Estabilio Cam of Area 1. So it is responsive. Company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection. Company ID of Mr. Penalber was attached, so it is responsive. For the airport visitors logbook, the logbook of Lawag Airport was attached, and with the entry of Mr. Penalber, so it is responsive. Bid bulletin, we did not issue a bid bulletin for this project, so it is not applicable. Financial documents, the offered bid of DK Hoxon is similar to the calculated bid, and the difference from the ABC is 33,474,058 pesos and 71 centavos. Both the submitted and the calculated are below the ABC of the project, so it is responsive. The bill of quantities, bid proposals, detailed estimates, summary sheets, and cash flow by quarter. These are all responsive submissions. They use the prescribed forms as indicated in the PBD Section 9 bidding forms. The technical working group conducted a site inspection at Talisay, Negros, and we verified the equipment projects as well as the documentary requirements or document submissions of DK Hoxon. So for the post-qualification documents, latest income tax or business tax returns, they submitted the December 31, 2021 business tax, and this was filed as January 14, so this is responsive. For licenses and permits, they resubmitted the field jobs registration, Picab license, DTI registration, updated mayor's permit, and tax clearance. So all are valid and current and responsive submissions. For the audited financial statement, they resubmitted the 2019-2020 AFS, which was received by BIR last March 30, 2021. So it is responsive. For key personnel licenses, all the technical personnel to be assigned to the project has a current and valid licenses, so it is responsive. The proposal of DK Hoxon was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid. It all complies with the legal, technical, and financial requirements. The submitted and the calculated bid is the same. So, considering all that, the technical working group is now recommending to award the project Lawag International Airport Development Project CY 2021 to DK Hoxon Construction, being the lowest calculated responsive bid in the amount of 91,473,591 pesos and 38 centavos. Mr. Chair, for consideration and approval of the committee.
Thanks, Frank. So we have a recommendation for the award of the Lawag International Airport Development Project to DK Hoxon Construction for having been determined as the lowest calculated responsive bid for the project. Do we have any comments or queries from the members? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please.
The chair.
Go ahead, sir.
I move to adopt the recommendations of the technical working group to award the contract for the Lawag International Airport Development Projects calendar year 2021 to DK Hoxon Constructions, being the lowest calculated responsive bid in the amount of 91,473,591 pesos and 38 centavos.
Right. Do you have a second?
Second, sir.
All right. Thank you. There being a motion duly seconded. I'm sorry. Natapos ba yung motion? Sorry. Tapos naman,
Yes,
di ba? Hindi ko narinig
yes,
yung
sir.
ibang part. Nawala si Colonel. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation of the TWG for the award of the project to DK Hoxton Construction is hereby adopted and the motion is carried. To be presented to the board of directors as well, Attorney Frank.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. Motion is carried. Let's proceed please with the last item.
Sir, last item is the presentation of the post-qualification report for the asphalt overlay of runway markings for the Tacloban Airport Development Project amounting to 56,695,772 pesos and 95 centavos a day, an ADMS DOTR downloaded project.
I'll answer. Ay, sorry. Individual pala to. Sorry. Sorry po. Ayun. Okay. So the last project is the asphalt overlay of runway and runway markings for Tacloban Airport Development Project. The APC for this is 56,995,722 pesos and 95 centavos. Also, the submitted bids were opened last January 5. LSD Construction was the lowest calculated bidder, and in the calculated bid amount of 46,636,506 pesos and 88 centavos. So, in the interest of time, Mr. Chair, all the submissions were actually responsive except for this item. So, in the list of contractors' equipment, the LSD Construction failed to indicate in the required details in the list of equipment, such as the year, model, plate number, and body number. This will be further elaborated later. Another non-compliance. Wait. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Sorry, sir. So the first non-complying item, Mr. Chair, is wait. So in the technical documents, we require that the list of contractors' personnel and list of contractors' equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project in accordance with ITB section 12.1B, number 2, and number 3, 2.3. So LSD Construction failed to indicate in the required details in the list of equipment the model or the year, plate number, and motor number or body number of the equipment. Another non-complying item of LSD Construction is the key personnel. One of the key personnel to be assigned to the project, or the technical personnel to be assigned to the project or pledged to the project, is Engineer Glenn C. Paraiso, a geodetic engineer. and his PRC license is only valid until January 6, 2022. Thus, it is already expired. So, um, in the submitted list of contractors' equipment, units of LSD construction and supplies, the details of the equipment pledged to the project, the column model year, plate number, and motor number, body number were not indicated. These information are vital in the post-qualification validation process to ascertain the existence of the pledged equipment. So we attach here, Mr. Chair, the submission of LSD construction. As you can see, uh, in the submitted document, in the submitted list of equipment, hindi po naka-indicate yung year, model, plate number, at saka motor. So there's no way for us to verify kung meron ba or existing ba itong mga documents na to. Existing ba itong mga equipment na to. So further, there are inconsistencies in the entries in the list of equipment vis-a-vis the ORCR attached as a supporting document. To cite an example, in the LTO certificate of registration, the dump truck provided has a net capacity of 12 cubic meter, while which is inconsistent to the 10 cubic meter capacity as indicated in the list. Thus, such equipment as listed has no supporting documents. So as you can see, Mr. Chair, here, I'll just zoom this in. Yung sa dump truck po niya, nakalagay is 10 cubic meter, pero yung sa registration certificate po ng LTO, 12 cubic meter. So, hindi nagkatugma or inconsistent yung mga entries niya doon sa list of equipment. Furthermore, during the site inspection, only one dump truck is available in their yard, and it bears a plate number NCK 9571, which is not the same in the OR, which is NJD 3521. So ito lang yung dump truck na nakita namin doon sa site inspection, and the plate number is, the plate number, ano ba to? Yung plate number po, nandito na, nakalagay naman po sa sasakyan, sa dump truck. Iba po siya dun sa official receipt ng dump truck na to. So, they have the same body but they have different plate number. So, another inconsistencies. Also, in the submitted post-qualification document, the PRC license of genetic engineer Glenn Paraiso, one of the key personnel to be assigned to the project, is already expired. No renewal document of the expired license was attached. Ito po yung kay Mr. Glenn Paraiso, nasa baba, valid until 1/6/2022, and wala po siyang inattach na renewal certificate, receipt or proof of renewal. So, another non-complying items. So with that, Mr. Chair, the technical working group is now recommending that LSD Construction Supplies be post-disqualified for submitting a deficient list of contractors' equipment, units, and expired license of key personnel. And we are also recommending that the next lowest calculated bidder, which in this case is BM Marketing, to undergo post-qualification process. For approval, sir.
Can you flash the part? Alright, thank you. So we have here the recommendation to post disqualify LSD Construction and Supplies based on the presentation made by Bldg. And as a result, the post-qualification of the next lowest bidder will have to proceed, which in this case will be BM Marketing. Do you have any questions or clarifications from our members on the presentation? So, Frank, just to summarize the grounds you raised for the disqualification were, can you slide up?
Yeah. Sir,
Scroll up.
two items, sir. First is yung zoom in ko lang po. Yung deficient list ng equipment po nila, wala pong mga entries sa column ng year model. Ito po is form po natin, walang mga entries. And may mga inconsistencies din po sa mga entries as well as the supporting documents. And the next non-complying item is yung expired license ng geodetic engineer po nila.
This
Na
is an item on the personnel listing requirement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's on the equipment and on the personnel submission. Sige, let's go to the recommendation. So do you have any questions or clarifications from the members? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion to adopt, please. Thank you.
To the chair,
Yes, Ma'am Joyce.
I move to adopt the recommendation of BAC to WG to disqualify LSD Construction and Supply for being non-responsive for failure to indicate the required details of the equipment and the expired licenses of key personnel licenses, and second, for BM Marketing to undergo post-qualification. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have a second?
Second.
Alright, there being no motion to seconded, the recommendation of TWG is hereby adopted. So we'll proceed to issue the notice of post-disqualification. Nagaganon pa ba tayo, or do we just proceed with the BM Marketing post-qual notice?
We notify Mr. Chair RSD Construction in order for them to avail of the remedy provided under 9184, and we also simultaneously conduct the post-qualification process for BM Marketing, sir.
Alright, thank you. Yeah, let's do that. Let's issue the necessary notices, please.
Yes,
Alright.
welcome.
Let's proceed, please. Do we have anything else under today's agenda?
Nothing for now, sir, from the TWG.
Secretariat?
Also none for the secretariat, sir.
Alright, there being no more items in the agenda, let's already adjourn the meeting. Kindly just inform us of the schedule for next week's meeting, please. Thank you. Maraming salamat po to our members who attended. I know lahat din kayo galing sa meeting kanina. Dire-diretso tayo, but thank you for giving your time. Ma'am Bani, Sir Jonix, Ma'am Diane, and Ma'am Joyce, maraming salamat po. Good afternoon. Frank, Irish, thank
Thank
you.
you, Rob. Thank you, Ate Frank.
Thank you po.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy weekend.
Oh, happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Valentino na, sir. Janela.
What do you think? February 14.
Oh, mukhang may date to si sir sa February 14 eh.
Hindi, papasok
Bagets na
ako.
bagets kanina yan.